Good morning. Hi,
Good morning.
Toby. I'll move over there. So a couple weeks ago, I was reading this article about how technology over the past 50 years actually accelerated. And if you take the example of the iPhone, and if the iPhone was actually built with the technology that we had back in the 90s, it would actually cost us $3.5 million to actually purchase it.
3.5 million?
It's $3.5 million.
I don't think I'm going to buy the new one when it comes out for my kid.
Talk about dropping it, right? So I was thinking $3.5 million. That's a lot of money. How's it even possible? And then you start thinking about the cost of the memory, the cost of the processors. But not all technology has actually accelerated as fast as computer and hardware. The article was talking about cars. And if that industry actually accelerated as far as technology as fast as hardware, we would be able to purchase today on average like a brand new car for less than $5,000. And we would be able to do 4 million miles on just 1 gallon.
4 million?
Yeah.
Wow. That's a lot more than I get today.
So now Brett helped you. Brett helped you a little bit with some of the AutoCAD history, but if you had to take a guess, and I know, we've gone through this before, Toby, but when do you think the first computer-aided design program was actually invented?
First CAD?
Yeah.
Say maybe mid-90s. SolidWorks, right? First CAD.
Okay, that's not all about SolidWorks.
Okay.
Well, let me give you actually a little hint here.
John, we're going to show you a man actually talking to a computer in a way far different than it's ever been possible to do before. Surely not with his voice. No, he's going to be talking rapidly. He's going to be drawing, and the computer is going to understand his drawings.
Okay, Toby, do you want to take a second guess after seeing this video?
Well, I mean, that's in black and white, so I guess it was in the 80s?
Oh, Jesus. Somebody want to help him here? Actually, it was in the late 50s.
Whoa.
And it all started at MIT Lincoln Lab. It's actually a SolidWorks customer who was the pioneer when it came to computer-aided programs. They're very well known for our nation defense systems. They built and developed radars and advanced warning system, but they actually started in the late 50s with a program called Sketchpad.
Okay.
Would you like to see what it looked like?
Definitely.
In order to do this, we can position this bright spot in the middle of the box that you notice at a desired location. And we press the button to command the computer to draw a line. It will draw a line from this position where I am now to any subsequent position of my right hand. This is much like a rubber band stuck in 2 pins. One is nailed on the screen there, and the other is in my left hand. So I can position this anywhere I want. Now, I lost tracking there. I moved the pen too fast. And that told the computer to stop drawing the line. Well, if you notice, that bright dot will jump under the line as you get close to it.
When the dot in the center of the cross, when you get close to it, it jumps over onto it.
Correct.
Why does it do that?
It's much like a gravity field at the endpoint. It is even a higher gravity field. It allows us to position the point exactly on the line, or in this case, exactly at the endpoint. This allows me to move my pen quite cautiously, keep sloppy while I'm drawing, and get a precision drawing out at the same time.
We could do that in SolidWorks.
It was very advanced for the late 50s, early 60s. But this type of programs actually cost over $500,000. So not all industries could actually embrace it. A lot of those programs you would find throughout the 60s in R&Ds, and it started making its way into the aerospace and the automotive industry. And most of them started building their own CAD programs. But it all traced back to this Sketchpad program.
In the 50s?
In the late 50s, all through the 60s. Now, in the 70s, there was more and more adoption, again, homegrown systems, so companies like Ford, McDonnell Douglas, Lockheed, all had their own programs. And it's not until Unix workstation actually appeared that the CAD market actually went through transformation. But it's still very reserved to those very heavy industries until the IBM computer came in. And that's when we saw the birth of a lot of 3D CAD systems. Now, fast forward 10 years later, Microsoft Windows 95 totally disrupted the CAD market and the technology. Now I have to walk over there because this is something I found in the...
You got something with you here?
Yeah, an antique. SolidWorks 1995.
Whoa. Wow.
So do you know what this is?
That is a DVD.
This is a CD.
What?
Yeah, this is a CD. And so when I'm looking at the system requirement that I'll put on the screen here, this is what killed me. The minimum requirement to run this program was actually 32 meg of RAM.
32 gig? Is that gig or meg?
Meg.
Wow.
My kids have a fit if their iPhone doesn't have 64 gigs, you know.
Yeah.
Actually, my kids have no idea what this is.
Yeah, I don't think my kids have ever seen or used a CD.
Yeah. Why? Because like when you think about our life and how it's been, the cloud has disrupted everything we do today, the way we watch movie, right? We're streaming everything. Except for a couple of people at DesignPoint that still buy DVD, and I'm not gonna name Sean Devaney, but the way we listen to music, right? We don't buy CDs or anything anymore. And you really think about it, computer devices, whether it's PCs, Macs, iPads, the only thing we care is just the screen to be able to access the data. And what we see with our customers today, they want to have access to the data anywhere, anytime, on any device. They want instant gratification. They want to be able to scale their business up and down, right, with projects. They want the peace of mind of not having an IT infrastructure. They want to be able to outsource this to a third party and have people take care of their upgrade. So the cloud has really disrupted our life, right? The way we do banking, it's all in the cloud. And that's why at Dassault Systèmes SolidWorks, we're actually embracing this shift again in technology. So my name is Murielle Martin. I'm actually leading the 3D experience, bringing the 3D experience to the SolidWorks community. I'm here today with Toby, and we want to share with you the story of one of our customers that is embracing this shift in technology to the cloud, and with the 3D experience platform has actually redefined the way they work together, the way they collaborate, not only with the engineering team internally, but also with their customers. And on that note, Toby, you have the floor.
All right, thank you. Good job. So as Murielle said, we're all experiencing this shift in the way that we experience our data. And what we'd like to do this morning is give you the answer to this question that may have been lingering. You may have been wondering, hey, what's up with the 3D Experience platform? What's going on? SolidWorks World is renamed to 3D Experience World. What's that all about? So what I'd like to do is just spend a few minutes this morning and kind of show you how one company was able to leverage the power of the 3D Experience platform to take an idea and actually turn it into a reality. Now, what is the 3D Experience platform? At the very core, the 3D Experience platform is a web portal. It's an area where you can access your data from the internet, from any device, at any location, at any time. And the front door to the 3D Experience platform looks like the front door to many other web portals you may have gone to and logged into. Once you go through that front door, you begin to organize your data. And you organize your data using what we call dashboards. Dashboards are going to be the very first thing that you experience when you're working with the 3D Experience platform. Now, why is this important? Because all of your company data is going to be stored in the 3D Experience platform, and you're going to need a way to filter through that data. And we do that using what we call dashboards. Now, that's all the further I'm going to get into this basic explanation. But if nothing else, I want you to take away, okay, it's a web portal. It's where our company can store our data so we can access it from our tablets, from our computers, from our phones. We can kind of keep up to date with projects, provide updates to the other team members. Okay, that makes sense. That's what the 3D Experience platform is. Ultimately, the way that I like to summarize it is the 3D Experience platform is a collaboration tool used to help with business development. That is, going out and getting new customers, or maybe taking your existing customers and providing them with more solutions. And with product development. That is, taking an idea from just being maybe a napkin sketch to being a fully developed product that you can sell to those customers. So with that basic explanation in mind, let's take a look at how one company was able to accelerate their design process using cloud-based collaboration. This company is called Icon, and Icon was founded by a man named Christian Bagg, who unfortunately had a snowboarding accident which left him wheelchair-bound. Hey, Dr. Bach. How you doing? Good to see all these old friends here today. I'm sure throughout the presentation see some other people. What's up, Hey Joy? How you doing? Good to see you again. All right, so Icon was founded by a man named Christian Bagg, who unfortunately had a snowboarding accident which left him wheelchair-bound. He was a mechanical engineer by trade, and he wanted to experience the outdoors again. And so Christian came up with an idea to create an electric-powered off-road mountain bike that could be used by someone who was wheelchair-bound. Christian put together a team to help manage this project, to bring it to a reality. And that team consisted of Pete, Don, Debbie, and Adam. And in this story, Pete, Don, Debbie, and Adam are going to utilize the 3D Experience platform for their communication, for their file management, for their project management, to go out and get some early testers and get some feedback from them. And what we're going to see is that all this information is going to exist in one spot in this one single web portal. You know, if you think about it, as you go through your day, you probably do more than one job throughout the day, right? Does anybody just do one job? They just go to work and just do one job all day? Maybe like put bottles on a conveyor belt or something like that? No, we all do different jobs, right, throughout the day. And the same thing's going to happen with our team here. You can see that Pete is a project manager, but he's also responsible for market research, for customer relations, and for doing the design review. Don, similarly, he's a CAD designer, but he's also responsible for the aesthetics of the project. Debbie is also a CAD designer, mechanical engineer by trade, but she also puts together the technical publications, the cool renderings and illustrations used in the instruction manuals. And Adam is our analyst. He does all the simulation analysis to make sure that our product isn't going to break when it's out in the field. When this team comes together, because of all the different hats that they're wearing, they're all utilizing different tools, right? They're using things like Outlook to manage their emails. Anybody here use Outlook? Anybody ever heard that program? Yeah, a lot of us use Outlook, right? So as you're working through a project, you're getting all these emails that have to do with that project, right? But you're also getting emails that have to do with other things, other duties that you have throughout the day. Anybody use Slack or Google Hangouts? Anybody use Telegram or Discord? Any Discord users here? Yep, Rohan, I knew you were a Discord user. I saw you on there last night playing Counter-Strike. So yeah, I mean, all these users are using different tools throughout their day. They're using Outlook to manage their information. They're using Slack to communicate with the team. They're using different feedback that they're getting from the customers and putting that together, maybe in Excel, creating charts and graphs to provide a report back to the team. They're using a project manager tool like Asana or Microsoft Project. And the problem with all these different tools is that the tools aren't necessarily communicating with one another. By the time this project goes from being up on Pete's plate to funneling down to Don and Debbie, look at all these different programs they're maybe using, down to Adam, who's doing the analysis, and then it has to funnel back to Pete to do the final review. I mean, it's passed through a lot of different programs. You've got your files that are being managed on Dropbox or Drive. You've got your communication that's taking place in Outlook. All these different programs that aren't necessarily talking to one another. Maybe some of you have faced this challenge at the office. Maybe when working on your projects, you face some of these challenges. So I want you to keep in mind that this is really at the core of the challenge that we're trying to address with the 3DEXPERIENCE platform. Let's talk a little bit about Pete and how Pete's going to address this challenge. Like we mentioned earlier, Pete's going to start out by going to the front door of the 3DEXPERIENCE platform and logging in. And he's then going to be presented with what's called a dashboard. Now, we can tell that he's on a dashboard because of the information that's up top here. He's got a tab for research, he's got a tab for data, he's got a tab for design community, feedback community, and projects. Currently, Pete's examining what's on the design community tab. Now, all the information that has to do with Pete's company is stored on the platform. But he doesn't want to see all that information at one time. He wants to filter down to the specific project he's working on. So what Pete's done is he's created a community for just that team. He's got a message board, essentially, that has to do with this project, the electric wheelchair. And this message board has certain members. It has Don, it has Debbie, it has Adam. So anytime there's something new going on with that project, Pete can log into this message board, or Don can log in, or Debbie can log in from their phone, from their tablet, from their computer, and they can provide an update that specifically pertains to this project. If we think back to the Outlook example, if you've been involved in any projects, you know that the best thing you could do maybe would be to set up some folders and to drag emails into those folders. But we always end up missing some of those communications. We always end up having to go back and maybe another email comes in 3 months later or 6 months later and we have to find that folder again and then add that email. Using the 3DEXPERIENCE platform, all this information is just right there in one spot, and you could go back 6 months or a year later and reread through those messages. Re-grab those links to the files, which are also stored in the platform. You don't have to go out and look for those files. You don't have to worry that maybe somebody else deleted them. The links to those files are also going to be stored and available right in this message board. But we're really just getting started here. So let's take a look at where we are on the project currently. You can see that some work has already been done. Pete's going to go down through the message board. It says, looks like we're kind of on our way. Here's a still picture of what the assembly looks like, but Pete doesn't want to look at that. So he's just going to jump to another tab on 3DEXPERIENCE where he's able to actually look at these models in 3D. We're using an app here called 3D Play. So Pete's able to just search. He can search anywhere in his area that he has access to in the project. He can find the top-level assembly, and he can then take that top-level assembly and drag it into this 3D Play app. So not only can he examine the still image, but he can actually examine the 3D model to see how things are looking, to take measurements, to do markups, to provide feedback. Overall, Pete's looking at this 3D model, and he feels pretty good about the way that this looks. So he's just going to jump back to his message board where he's communicating with the entire team, and he's going to leave a message for the team. What's his message going to say? It's going to say, "This looks pretty good so far. Let's get some prototypes made. Maybe we can go out and get some early testers." So that's what Pete's going to do. And to facilitate the feedback from these early testers, Pete's created another tab on his dashboard called Feedback Community. This is where Pete's going to invite these early testers into the 3DEXPERIENCE platform. He's going to grant them access to this project, and he's going to grant them access to a message board that's different from his design community message board. Maybe Pete doesn't want the rest of the team to see all this feedback. He wants to kind of control who has access to what information. So Pete's going to go out and get some early testers, and he's going to create a message board where these early testers can provide some feedback. One of the cool things about these message boards is it's not just posts and images, but there's actually dynamic types of messages that we can create, dynamic types of posts. For example, one of these types of posts is called an idea post. You can say, "Hey, I'm going to raise my hand. I think I've got a good idea for this project." The other team members can look at this idea, provide feedback, and if the project manager agrees that this is a good idea, they can change the maturity of that idea. They could say, it's not just basic feedback, but it's actually under review or under development, or we're going to implement this into the project. So instead of just being a post, you can actually provide your users the ability to give you feedback and steer the project a little more dynamically. Beyond this, Pete can also use a different type of post called a survey, and he can reach out to these early testers, these potential customers, or the members of his team, and he can create a survey saying, hey, what do you guys think is most important for this project? Do you think weight is more important? Do you think stability is more important? You can create these surveys and post these on this board and immediately get the feedback, and then use that feedback to help drive the project. In this case, what Pete's done is he's created a survey asking for what do you think is most important with this project, and he's going to now take this survey and move it over into a different tab on his dashboard. So Pete's got a tab on his dashboard here called Research. Let's take a look at that tab. So you can see on the right of this tab, there's what's called a feed reader. So Pete's able to go out and say, I want to do a search for any news that has to do with wheelchair athletes. And I want that information to land right in the 3DEXPERIENCE platform, right on this tab on my dashboard. So if I bring this up from any device, if I'm at home looking on my tablet, I don't have to go and research for that information. It just shows up here right on this tab. You can see that Pete's also got an app here that I really like called Quick Links, where he's able just to create bookmarks, but bookmarks that are specific to this project. So he can quickly jump onto these bookmarks at any time from any device. And lastly, we can see here in the upper left that Pete was able to take that feedback from the customers or from the early testers, and he was able to determine that weight is the most important element of this design, followed by comfort. So based on the early testers, that's what they feel is most important, based on that survey that Pete sent out to those early testers. So now Pete wants to use this not only as research information, but he actually wants to use this information to help drive the design. So with just a few clicks, he's going to share this information right onto the design community. He's going to publish this to what's called a swim community. That's our message boards. And the design community is going to be able to see this information, not only see this information, but actually use it to help drive the design. So let's address the weight issue first. Pete clicks publish from information that previously he could only see. He jumps over to the design community. Now the entire team can share in this information. So now, Pete's other job is to be the project manager and to organize the timelines, and we've got a solution for that as well, all linked to all this communication to all the different members of the team. Pete's going to create what's called a project. So he's going to go to his final tab on his dashboard, and that final tab is the tab for projects. Once Pete jumps onto that tab, he's going to start creating a schedule to accomplish this goal of reducing the weight from our initial designs. He's going to add a little bit of personalization to this project by adding a picture. He's going to say, based on the feedback, we need to address the weight concerns. And he's going to start creating a timeline for the goal that we need to hit. Now, in order to ensure that everyone on the team gets the appropriate notifications and understands kind of what this timeline looks like, Pete's going to go in and he's going to grab these members. Again, think about this. A lot of times you may be doing this in multiple different programs where you're not going to have the same access to these users. But because the 3DEXPERIENCE platform gives you all these tools in one spot, you're able to easily link and therefore notify these users as you're applying these different apps. Pete's going to start out here by creating a milestone. When do we need to have this next round of testing done? So our milestone here is going to be by the end of the month, we want to share this design with some testers. Pete goes down and sets that date. That puts a milestone in this Gantt chart. Anybody ever worked with Gantt charts before? Show of hands. A few people. Everybody loves a good Gantt chart, right? We all love good Gantt charts. They let us see really what we're doing and what our timeline looks like. So Pete's going to go in here and he's going to create a task. Now, when we create these tasks, we can assign a start date, we can assign an end date. We could also create a dependency where we could say this task can't be started until the previous task is completed. And we can assign these tasks to a specific user, but we can also assign these tasks to multiple users. You know, Pete wants to leverage all three, Debbie, Don, and Adam, all of their feedback, all of their input to how we can make this design a little bit better. So Pete's going to go in here and he's going to assign multiple users. And then the other thing that we can do that's really cool here is we can create what's called an attachment. So down here what Pete's doing is he's creating an attachment to the top level assembly for this project, which means that when Adam receives a notification, he's going to see, I need to do this task by this time, and I'm using these files, and he can just click on that link to the files and begin downloading those files right into SolidWorks. So because we've got all this connectivity in the platform, it really simplifies the workflow and ensures that everything is going to go smoothly and that you can find the files you need right when you need them. So Pete's going to continue going through here. He's going to create another task. Maybe this one will be for Debbie, create some marketing images. He's going to say this task is dependent on the previous task. So we're not going to do the marketing images until the previous task is done, until we're sure that the design looks good. And Pete's going to keep going through here and adding some more tasks. I'm going to just click through this. I think you guys pretty much get the gist. Ultimately, we end up with just this beautiful Gantt chart. I actually printed this out and framed it. I have it hanging up in my office at home. So if anybody ever wants to come over and see it, come on over. I'm right off the turnpike. All right, that's going to end Pete's job there. You can see that Pete is done organizing this project, doing his roles with his multiple hats of doing some market research, getting some feedback from the early testers, and assigning an appropriate timeline to his team. So what's going to happen with this team now? Well, we've got Don, the designer, who's going to log into the 3DEXPERIENCE platform, and he's going to see what's called a notification. So in the upper right here, you're going to see that Don got a notification, not from Pete, although he did get one from Pete as well, but actually from Adam, because Adam examined the task that was assigned to Adam, Don, and Debbie, and said, hey, I got some advice for you. Here's maybe some tips on how you can accomplish this task. Don's going to click on that notification from Adam. It says, front suspension looks over-engineered. I think he actually means overbuilt there, right? Not over it. Because engineering, you're trying to hit optimal efficiency, right? And this is more like he didn't hit optimal efficiency. So it's really... Anyhow, sorry, I think I'm reading into the comment too much. Don's just going to say, okay, I got it. All right. So now Don's going to move on, and he's going to jump into my favorite program ever, SolidWorks. And Don's going to now search for this file using what's called PDM in the cloud. Now, I'm doing 2 presentations today on PDM in the cloud. So if you notice, it's in the column that has a green font. There's a session called 3DEXPERIENCE that I'll be hosting, and it's going to talk a lot about PDM in the cloud. If you want to learn more about PDM in the cloud and sub-D modeling, be sure to tune into that session. But for now, you can see that Don is working in my favorite CAD program, SolidWorks. He's turning on the add-in for PDM in the cloud. He's able to search for the files that pertain to this project, and he's able to download these files from PDM in the cloud right into his SolidWorks environment. So all the engineering for this project is still taking place in SolidWorks. We're leveraging the power of the platform, though, to do the project management and the file management. All the files are stored in PDM in the cloud. In other words, they're stored in the 3DEXPERIENCE platform. So Don's going to go through here. He's going to make some changes to the front suspension. We'll just fast forward a little bit there. I think that looks great. I think Don did a great job. He's going to take those files, and he's going to push those files back up to the cloud. Again, using the PDM in the cloud functionality, we're going to use a function called save here. That's going to let him push those files back up so the rest of the team can examine those files. Here you can see PDM in the cloud, pushing the files back up. Kind of similar, if anybody here are PDM users? So those of you who are, who maybe have seen it before, you can see you get kind of a similar interface to PDM. Now that those files are up in the cloud, Don wants to share what he's done with the rest of the team. Now you'll notice here that Don is logged into 3DEXPERIENCE platform, but his dashboard looks a little bit different from Pete's. He's got a tab called Data, called Design Community, and called Tasks. And this is really at the heart of why 3DEXPERIENCE is so useful and so easy to navigate through, because you're able to filter out just the information that's important to you, or maybe just the information that you have access to. In this case, he's created a community, not for every project, but just for this specific project. He's created this dashboard so that he can access the data that matters to him for this project. So Don's going to go in, he's going to grab that front suspension with the changes that he made and uploaded using PDM in the cloud. He's going to launch the same app that we looked at earlier, 3D Play. But instead of just examining this model in 3D, he's actually going to create some markup information on this project. He's going to let the team know, I went in here, I was able to make some changes to these files. I was able to reduce the weight of this project. You can see that we've got all the markup tools that you would expect. You've got the cool ability to draw. You've got the ability to add in text. And once we add in this information, Don's going to be able to simply share this information with the team. And what's cool is that you can either share this as a static image, or you could share it as a 3D model that has the annotation, so you can actually play through those annotations. So the team will definitely understand the changes that you've made or that you're suggesting. In this case, Don's just going to do a snapshot here. He's going to indicate that he was able to reduce the weight and look for some feedback. And the last thing he's going to do here is he's going to share this with the community, so now everyone else has a chance to look at this. Now at this point, Pete's at home, but even though he's at home, he's still able to access the platform. Maybe he's on his phone or he's on his tablet. And in the upper right here, you can see that Pete's already commented on this post. So what did Pete say? He logged in, he said, wow, looks nice. He threw the little @ symbol in there. That way, next time Adam logs into the platform, he'll get a notification. At Debbie, same thing. She'll get a notification. Go ahead with your tasks. So I hope that at this point we're painting this picture of connectivity and online collaboration for project management using 3DEXPERIENCE as the foundation. Adam's going to log in and do his tasks as well. He's going to do his simulation tasks, make sure that that front suspension is going to hold up. Maybe he's going to leverage some of the new tools that we offer in 3DEXPERIENCE. So the models were created in SolidWorks, but we can actually do some higher-end simulation using some of the Simolia tools that are available in 3DEXPERIENCE platform. Ultimately, he's going to finish that analysis and upload his designs. And Debbie will similarly grab the files. She'll pull those files down just like Don did. She'll start using those files to create her technical publications. Once she's done with those technical publications, she's able to organize them using what we call bookmarks. These are kind of like folders. She's able to add not only SolidWorks files, but really any type of file to 3DEXPERIENCE platform. And then using 3D Play, we can view these files. So we saw earlier the ability to view static images and 3D models, but we can also view things like PDFs or even SMGs that are created out of SolidWorks Composer using this app called 3D Play on the platform. So now again, from any device, regardless of what software you have installed, the team's going to be able to go through and see this great technical publication, going to be able to see this Composer project, going to be able to see the solid models and rotate those solid models. And just like the other team members, she's now going to share that back to the community. This ultimately winds us down on our story of how 3DEXPERIENCE can help you perform project management and collaboration tasks with your team. Maybe you're struggling with having multiple different programs and having to manage the connectivity between those programs. Maybe you're struggling with, I've got all these different emails and not all of them pertain to this project. Maybe you're struggling with, what did that person say in chat? I remember they said it, but I can't find it. It was, it was from 6 months ago. I need to go back through my chat log and remember what, I really like the way that they worded it, but I lost that message. I can't find that message anymore. Ultimately, by using the platform, we can bring our teams together and we can provide them with one spot where everyone can log in from any device, from any location, and access all these great tools. Now that the rest of the team has done that, Pete's going to log in and he's going to take a look. Again, maybe he's on his tablet. He doesn't have the tools necessarily to work with 3D models. He doesn't have 3D CAD installed on his tablet, but it doesn't matter. He's able just to log in here. He's able to see the information, check out this information, check out this information. These guys are saying, we posted all of our results. Here's some screenshots. But Pete's got a tab on his dashboard called Data, and from that tab on his dashboard, he's able to see all the information from the team. So now he's going to go through and kind of do a final review. He's going to say, okay, let's take a look at this top-level assembly 3D CAD model. Front suspension, weight has been reduced. This thing looks great. Aesthetically, it's pleasing. He's happy with that. Pete's going to go on now. He's going to look at the simulation results that Adam created. He's going to review these results. He's going to say they're within specification. Looks pretty good there. He's going to go through. He's going to look at the information that Debbie created. He's able to look at this all in one spot. He doesn't have to jump around to a bunch of different programs or even a bunch of different tabs. He's organized his dashboard so that he's getting optimal efficiency from the workflows that he's anticipating. Since everything looks good, I'm going to go into PDM in the cloud. I'm going to bump this to the release state so that we know that these files are now ready for production for the next round of testing. And that's ultimately how Christian and the team from Icon were able to take this idea of an off-road, electric-powered mountain bike from just being a napkin sketch or an idea in someone's head to being a fully produced product. I hope that gives a good explanation of what the 3DEXPERIENCE platform can do, but I think there's still one question that's left unanswered, and that question is, were they able to take all these apps, were they able to bring all these apps together, bring all these different roles together, and were they ultimately able to accomplish their goal? Were they able to actually make something? So how did it turn out? Let's take a look together. So awesome, right? So I want to say thank you all so much for your attention. I hope that maybe brought some clarity to this conversation of what is a 3D Experience platform. Of course, if you have any questions, come on up and talk to me at the break, or you can come into some of my other sessions throughout the day. And with that, I want to turn it back over to Brett and just say thank you very much.